Oh, now what? Hey, thanks for dropping by. Can't Let Her Die DIY. If you found this channel, you found this video, you must be having trouble with your headlights. Your low beam headlights on the Subaru Outback or any of the Subarus. The low beam headlight bulb right there is blown. Same on the other side. Both of them blown at the same time. They're a little tricky to get to. It's a little tricky to change it, but it's not hard. I find the easiest way to change those out for you. I was just rotating the tires. I'll do that another day. Throw on your old clothes, meet you back here in 5 minutes, and we'll get in there and change out that bulb. It's easy. It's easier than you think. You got this. Okay, you're back. First thing we got to do, we got to turn the tire. So if you're replacing the bulb, the driver's side bulb, you want to turn the tire to the right. That frees up, gives us more room to attack that bulb, to access that bulb on this angle going up here. I'll get you in here and show you. We got to remove 2 push pins. One is right there. Can you see that? And the other one is right down here, right straight up. It holds this wheel well splash guard. This is plastic and this can bend. So we need to remove this and then bend this out of the way. This is the easiest way. I've looked at it from all directions. The manual says this is the easiest way too. Don't have to remove the tire. It doesn't really give you much more room. I did try it on the other side without the tire. Not much of a benefit. Don't need to do it. Okay, the first push pin is right here. Now the secret to this, you don't want to damage these things. You just get a screwdriver in there and push out on the center part. See that? That's what locks that in. This is the B-type clip in the manual. I call it a push pin clip. You pull that down to about there. That unlocks it. Now, other guys use specialized tools, but you don't really need it. If you do this right, you can get it out with your hands. Pull that thing right down. Just like that. No specialized tools. Right? So that's your standard clip you see on a lot of these things. When you pull that out, it loosens the backing part like that. And then when you push it in, it locks it in tight. The other one's right here. So looking straight up, get in there. And it's the same thing. Manipulate that center part out. And then that whole thing should come. And that, yeah, beautiful. Now notice how the splash guard is in behind this part, this fender, which is fiberglass, so it's bendable, but it's tucked in behind there. Okay, so we gotta untuck it, bring it out, like that, like so. Right. A little bit of mud got in there, and then we gotta get this. This is tucked in behind that, and that is steel. And we're into the steel part. A little bit of mud there for you, and let's bend this. Now, it'll bend back, so don't worry about that. We want to bend this and make as much room as possible because we're going to need it. So you can see the tire's not impeding us at all. So once you got this bent sufficiently, take your trusty bungee cord, hook her in that convenient hole there, and hook it to your shock here. The coil of your shock out of the way as much as possible. Now like that, and around. Bingo, beautiful. Okay, the low beam bulb is located right in there behind that cap, that white cap in there. That's it. That's protecting the moisture from getting in on that bulb. We have to unscrew that. We have to turn that to the left, counterclockwise, about 20 degrees. and that cap will come off. That's the next objective. So hopefully you have small girly hands, but if you have big gorilla mitts like I do, it's a little more difficult, but it's not impossible. See that cap there? You turn it, so I'm turning it right now. There's about 20 degrees. I'll move my hand so you can see, and I felt it kind of give way. So now I think it's loose. There it is, and it comes off. Let's get that out. There we go. There's the cap. It has a gasket. Make sure you have a gasket on yours. And the way it goes in is this way. This is top, front, and this is open, and this is lock. So what I did, that's the way it was, and I turned it about that far, and then it comes off easily. So when we reinstall this, we've got to do the same thing. So you got to remember, it's really important to see how these things came off. So we got to put it on like that, and then turn it like this. So that's it. That's the cap. No moisture. This is looking good. I like it. There's the bulb, folks. Look at that, right in there. There's the plug. That plugs into the back of the bulb. There's the bulb. There, right there. That's the spring that holds the bulb in place. Next objective, remove this plug right there. My hand's going in. And it has two, it just pulls straight out, and you don't even have to squeeze anything together. So I'll just remove my hand so you can see. Now let me see if I can manipulate that so you can see it a little better. There's the plug. Let's tuck that out of our way, right in there somewhere. I'll do that with my hand. I'll tuck that out of my way. There. So we need all the room we can get. So that's tucked out of the way. See the spring? Okay, now we have to remove that spring on there, the latching spring, and it's right there. My pointer is on it. It's magnetic. It's right there. Now that needs to be pulled down, and then it will open over like this, like a book. But there's a little latch, so it has to go down a little bit, and then it will just rotate right out of the way. And that's what holds that bulb in place. So, in goes my hand. Right? I'm locating the spring now. There. I got it with my thumb. I don't know if you can see that. Now I'm pushing it down. And then, oh, see that? It comes right off. Now I'll take my hand out of the way so you can see. And it's very loose. There's the spring right there. I just unhooked it. It folds right over like this. See that? Get that? And now you can see the bulb. And guess what? This is a magnetic pointer. I bet you I can just do this. Now you don't have to. You can reach up there and pull that out. But this is so cool. Look at that. Magnetic pointers. I love it. Check that out. Here's your bulb, folks. Burnt bulb. Let's compare. Hey, I've relocated you to my workbench. I want to take a closer look at these bulbs. Why did they fail? That's a good question. Let's take a look. Now, I've had this Subaru Outback. We bought it in 2019. It's a 2014. And luckily, I have all the records, all the maintenance records, anything that's ever been done, all the warranty stuff. The bulbs have not been replaced. This is the first bulb. Now, surprise, surprise, both bulbs went at the same time. So that's clue number one. Let's take a look at them. You know, so they did pretty good because that's a 2014. It is now 2022. So that is 8 years. You can see right here, you see that coil? The incandescent filament, it's like a little spring in there. It's ruptured right there on that one. And this one, more of a violent explosion. There's no black on the inside of that glass. It looks like it's just normal wear and tear, like normal. These bulbs expired. My point is, they've lasted 8 years. That's the life expectancy. they only have so many hours in these bulbs, right? Now a lot of guys are complaining they're going through bulbs every year and they have to replace these same bulbs all the time. Well, there's something, it's not the bulbs, there's something wrong with their vehicle. Either they're getting water in there, or there's improper grounding, or something's shorting it out, or they install the bulbs, you can't touch the glass because it heats up. The sweat residue that's on the glass will heat up and it'll rupture, prematurely rupture the bulbs, burn the bulbs out and that sort of stuff. So let's take a look at this bulb here. Now, a lot of guys on the internet, they're looking at buying longevity bulbs. Doing the research on this, you can buy replacement bulbs from $9 to $109. And a lot of people are, because it's a little difficult to access these bulbs, they're going with the more expensive, upgrading the bulbs. Now, I went with tried to go with the factory original. So this bulb costs $9.89. And it is exactly the bulb that we're looking at. You can see, right? You can see that this one does have the spring in there. And it's good to go. Now this one here that I pulled out, I read on it, it's a Phillips. Now I talked to Napa. This one I got from Napa. I asked them who makes their bulbs. Napa doesn't make the bulbs, but they wouldn't tell me. But I can tell that this is exactly the same as these Phillips, so it's a good choice. If your vehicle's blowing a lot of bulbs, there's something wrong with your vehicle. Either it's not grounding properly, moisture's getting in, something is incorrect. So you might want to go down that road of investigation rather than buying an expensive bulb, $100 bulb. Don't do it. Stick with the $9.89, jobby. Anyway, that's enough yapping. Let's get this thing in. Look at that. For $9.89, it's beautiful. Worth its weight in gold. So this job is all about orientation. You need to know how these bulbs go in. Now you might, first instinct, put it in straight like this. That's not the way it goes. It sits in there this way. See this part here? There's a notch on that receptacle that fits right in there. So it really has to go in this way. So I may put it in like this by feel and then rotate it, and it should feel where it sets in properly. I'm going to fish this in through there. Get my hand in. I think my hand grew. Got it in there, so that is straight. Now I'm going to rotate it to 7 or 8 o'clock. There, it just fit in. There, I'm going to try to move my hand without it falling out. So I think that's got it right there. Can you see in there? Yeah, that looks like it's sitting in there. See, right in there? That notch right there is in the notch. So we're good. So now next thing I do is I got to find that spring. I believe it's right there. This is the magnetic pointer. I'm not going to use the magnetic pointer because I know you guys don't have one. So we're going to use our finger. So I got to go over, close that like you're closing a book, and pull it down and latch it. So that's the mission. And I'm going in. Cover me. There, I feel the spring. Spring is going over. And push it down a little bit. And it didn't latch. I'll try it again. Take another look to see where I'm going. Okay, now I know where I'm going. And there it is. So you push it over, push it down, and it latches on. How does that look? Right there is the spring, right? And it latches right there underneath that part there. So that holds that bulb right in. That's it. No problem. She's nice tight. It is a nice secure system. And do you see the orientation of that plug? This is kind of tricky too. It's not straight. It's a diagonal orientation. There's one prong. There's the other prong. So you got to do it at an angle like that, not at a straight. So it's like 8 o'clock as well. I gotta manipulate that plug to fit in there. There it is. I think that's it. Can you see that? That's it. So it kind of wants to stay at that 8 o'clock position anyway, just because the memory of the wires. So use that to your advantage. You get it in there, and it's in, and that's it. That's secure. Okay, back to the bench. What I like to do, since this is the first time this has been removed, and maybe that is the issue, we have a gasket here, a rubber gasket that seals that from water getting in there. So what I like to do, just like any gasket, put a little bit of, you can put oil on it. This is dielectric spray. It's really good for electrical. I use it for a lot of things. And but use whatever you got, a little bit of oil, and we will do this. Now this serves two purposes. It lubricates the gasket so that it makes a better seal. Right, oil against plastic there will seal that off, and oil will repel water if water tries to get in there. The other thing, it makes it a lot easier to rotate that. It's kind of hard when you're reached up in there. We're going to have to rotate that 20 degrees, and now everything's very slippery, right? And it will, all these connection points, it will rotate that much easier. So maybe guys are burning bulbs because they don't get this on properly. Maybe their gasket is damaged and water is getting in there. So we got to take care of that gasket. I want to get this back on, get it nice and sealed tight so we can go another 8 years without changing those bulbs. You got this. It's not hard. Let's do it. Okay, putting this cap on, again, it's all about orientation. There's only one way it'll go on, and that was like 20 degrees right here. So I gotta put it in there. When I get up there, I'm gonna rotate it 20 degrees, put it on, and then turn it back so this is straight. That's what the locking position. There. She's in. Now I'm gonna rotate it. And that's it. And now we undo this, put everything back the way we found it. Okay, now we gotta test it. Hey, these lights are so bright, it feels like I'm down in Mexico on the beach. Senorita. Gracias. Cheers.